Hey folks, I'm Nathan from the ebookreader.com. For this video, I'm going to give you guys a review of the Kobo Aura 1. This is Kobo's latest ebook reader, and it's the first to have the larger 7.8-inch ink screen. So I already posted a PDF review and a review of comics and manga and a comparison review between the Kindle. So if you wanted to see those, check out my YouTube channel, the ebook reader YouTube channel. For this video, I'm going to do a general review, focus on the hardware and software, go through all the software features, show you how everything works, and just give you a general idea how the front light works and all that kind of stuff. So let's start with the hardware first. So like I said, it's got a 7.8-inch ink screen, and it's very thin as well. I think it's the thinnest Kobo e-reader yet. It's 6.9 millimeters. The other ones are closer to 9 or over 9 millimeters, so it's quite thin and it's quite light. It's 230 grams. It's actually lighter than the Kobo Aura H2O, which has a smaller 6.8-inch screen. So the larger 6.8-inch screen, I really do like it. And then the hardware, it does have a nice solid build quality. You've got the flush screen right here, so you don't have the indented layer like a lot of the e-readers. You got that flush glass. One thing about it though, it does have a little bit of a gap on that right side right there. It's like about a millimeter between it and the frame. It's not as big on this side, it fits tighter. So it is waterproof as well. So this device is waterproof. It can go into water up to 2 meters deep. Alright, so then on the back it's got this textured coating. It's a little bit, it's kind of a little bit soft, but it's also a little hard at the same time. So it's kind of between the two. And we've got the power button, this new kind of power button layout on Kobo e-readers. And that is it as far as buttons and the hardware. So it doesn't have a micro SD card slot like the Kobo Aura H2O. Kobo has done away with the micro SD card slots, but this one, it does have twice as much storage space. It has 8 gigabytes. Alright, so here's a quick comparison just to get an idea of the screen size. This is a 6-inch Kobo Aura 2 that also was released at the same time as this Aura 1. So it's got the 6-inch ink screen, it's got a lower resolution screen, and it doesn't have all the same software. It doesn't have the overdrive support like the Aura 1, which I'll talk about later. So as you can see, the added screen size is quite nice. I really like the amount of text you get on the screen. It's actually my favorite screen size now. I really think that more e-readers should start coming out with this size screen. It's really nice. I really like it. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the front light now. So in addition to the larger screen, it's also got this really cool feature. It's the first e-reader to have a front light where you can customize the color temperature. So let's go ahead and get it a little bit brighter here. And then if you have this slider down here to the left, it gives you the blue color, like the bluish light. And the further you go this way, the more orange tone you get. So you can filter out the blue light if you would like. And then down here you can kind of just get a mix between the two. So I really think that's a cool feature because some people like the light a bit more yellow, some people like it blue. So you got the option, you can customize it however you want in here and set it up how you like. You can also set it for auto, and it will go depending on the time of day. It starts to get more orange as the day goes on. You can set your bedtime schedule right there, and you can use auto brightness for the front light adjuster as well. But I find it to be kind of finicky. It's like it'll kind of adjust all the time, even if you just like put your hand over the screen or something, it kind of adjusts. It's really touchy, so I really don't care for it a whole lot. I just keep it turned off and manually adjust it myself. I kind of like it. The light is quite bright, so let's go here. The camera kind of adjusts, but so it kind of makes it hard to get an understanding of the light levels. But it's really a bright light. I really use it down here at the 5% area a lot, maybe 10% during the day, and then at night I drop it down to like 3% to maybe even just 1%. You can get it all the way down to 1%, and then it's quite dim. And then if you go to 0%, of course, it'll turn off entirely. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the software for Kobo e-readers right now. They all basically have the same software and the same software features. The Aura 1 has a cool new feature where you can download library ebooks directly from the device using overdrive. All you got to do is basically enter your library card number, and then you can download books for free from Kobo. It works differently than it does like using like a web browser, because you do it through the Kobo store. So I'll talk about that briefly. So this is the home screen layout, and it does it differently than other e-readers in the sense that you have this tile layout, and it will show you like your recently added titles, your recently read titles. It will show you like recommended titles. As you can see right here, it'll list your bookmarks as well that you've added to a book, and then it will also add things like the web browser link and like categories that you visited in the Kobo store. So if you long press on one of those, you can actually dismiss it if you want to get rid of it. Alright, so then once you tap down here in the lower left corner, you bring up the option to view your books or collections and articles from Pocket as well. So you can use Pocket to send articles, web articles to the Kobo e-reader. So if we go over here to the book section, it will show your list of books like in the regular layout. You can also switch through from list view. There's also a cover view. So you got the two different options in the library right here. And then we've also got some different sorting options right here. We got the recent. So I'm having some problems with the touchscreen responding whenever I get in front of a camera. It's not too bad when I'm using it normally, but something about sticking in front of a camera, I have problems with the touchscreen responding. So you're gonna see me touching things multiple times a lot of the time during this review, but it's really not that bad when I'm using it. I don't know what the deal is. So we got those different sorting options, and we've also got the other options right here. You can sort by overdrive if you wanted to. So like this first book up here, I downloaded from overdrive, and it will show you how many days it expires over there in the right corner. And then you've got the other options. If you hold down on these titles, you got the options to view the details, mark them as read, remove them. So you've got that as well. So the Kobo right here, it'll show what the formats are on your book. So you can load in EPUBs, PDFs, so it supports a number of formats, CBR as well for comics. I'll have all that listed in the written review. So, alright, so this is a quick look at the Kobo ebook store that's built onto the device. So if you go to one of these sections, I noticed that it won't have the overdrive option up here in the left corner. So it just shows the ones for eligible discounts. The way you check for overdrive is you would have to select a title, and then over here with these dots, it will show you place a hold with overdrive, or it'll say borrow with overdrive, or it won't give an option if it's not available through your library. So it doesn't show the overdrive option. Like I said, when you're using the Kobo's categories and they're like predetermined lists, the way to get the overdrive to show is by doing a search. So if we wanted to do search for science fiction, for instance, it will show science fiction, and then you'll have this additional option over here where you can see overdrive titles, and it'll replace the price with borrow and lend, or borrow and place a hold. So you've got the option to get see which ebooks are available through your library that way. So that's a pretty cool feature, being able to just borrow library books directly on the device, and then they will download automatically immediately, and you can read them for free. So it's a really cool feature. I really think that's one of the killer features with the Kobo Aura or the Kobo Aura 1 here. So it isn't available on any of the other Kobos currently. I don't know if they're just going to leave it exclusive to this device or not, but so far that's how it seems. Alright, so this is the reading setting menu for Kobo e-readers. You got some different tap zones you can set right here if you want to turn pages from top to bottom, or set, the usual right and left, and then you can access the menu from the middle, or you can set that up however you like. You can also set the screen refresh rate from 1 to 6 pages, turn on and off Adobe page numbers, and then you can set this reading progress indicator for a chapter or book. So some other things really quickly I'll mention in the language section. So we've got support for multiple languages. As you can see right here, that's the language that's supported on this device. And you also got a bunch of dictionaries. It comes with 6 pre-installed. We can also download some additional ones here from the list. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the reading features here. I got the text pretty large so that you can see it. And then we can go ahead and change the text by tapping here in the screen, and we get our options down here to modify. If we tap the AA button, it will give us the text adjustment menu here. We've got like 10 different font choices pre-installed. You can also install your own fonts. You just got to put them in a fonts folder on the Kobo's drive. And we can also in the advanced menu here, we can customize the darkness of the text if you want your text to be bolder. So you can get bolder here, and it'll show you an example of the before and after. So the thing with the boldness is you do lose a little bit of the sharpness, so it's kind of a balancing act, exactly how you would like it. I kind of like it just to be about right here, a little bit bold, but it still keeps it nice and sharp with the 300 pixel per inch screen. So then we've got the font size. There's like 50 font sizes. Okay, so then below the font sizes, we've also got the line spacing option, so you can increase and decrease the line spacing to your preference. And you can also increase and decrease the margins to your preference as well if you wanted some big margins, or if you wanted like no margins. We've got that option on the Kobo e-readers, which is nice. You do have a lot more line spacing and margin features than you do on Kindles. And then you also got the justification option. So for instance, if you didn't like how it is right now where it's got fully justified, you could do the left justified, so it'll have a jagged margin on the right, but then like the words are all spaced evenly. So a couple other things down here. So this is the estimated reading time that thing actually shows the related titles, and then the one next to it here shows your estimated reading time. And like we were talking about in the settings, you could change it to show it's a chapter or book, and it will show you how long you got in the chapter. And there's also this little graph right here which shows like the chapters in relationship to each other, like the one I'm on super long, and then the other ones are shorter, and you can kind of tell right there, tell you how long you got to go. So that's a pretty cool feature. It works with Kobo EPUBs only, however. It doesn't work with side-loaded ebooks unless you would convert them to Kobo's format. So then this little icon right here will bring up some additional options. You can run searches in the book. You can got your annotations list. So you can actually open the dictionary as well, and then the reading settings. So let's talk about the on-screen features. So the Kobos kind of have a bad reputation for highlighting, but it's not too bad once you get used to it. So the trick with it is you just highlight one word, and then you can add a note. You can add a text note through it right there. You can also search Wikipedia, Google, and in the book for more instances of the word. You can also share it on Facebook. So when it comes to the highlighting, however, if you try to move these little dials, it's very awkward. It doesn't work well at all. So if you hold for a couple of seconds and then drag to where you want to go, it's not too bad, but it's pretty much impossible for some reason to like adjust it once it's already on there. So if I wanted to get it to junction instead, yeah, it doesn't work well at all as far as adjusting it goes. So you basically just have to set the highlight to what you want, to highlight one word at a time, or to like pull and drag to where you want it to go, because adjusting it just does not work very well for some reason. So if you hold down on a word, you also get the dictionary option up here, and then you can change between the dictionaries on the fly as well. So there's those features, and then if we tap down here, it'll bring up your list right here, and then we can use this little dial to navigate a book, so you can skip chapters with the double arrows, and then you can jump around using the table of contents too, of course. And then once you use the table of contents, it'll put this little previous location, which is really small this time, there it goes, and then we can jump back to where you were before. So it's kind of weird that it doesn't add that if you're using the page dial to jump around or anything like that. It only adds that back previous button to if you're using the table of contents. So like I wanted to go back again to my previous page, and it doesn't have that option, so it only just does that once. So this is the thing with side-loaded books on the Kobo e-readers. You never really know what you're going to get formatting wise, because it completely relies on the book's CSS formatting, and oftentimes books aren't formatted very good. So for this book, for instance, you can see that the right margin is bigger than the left margin. Seems to be a pretty common theme with side-loaded EPUBs. And also it didn't have that header, as you notice, so you get more screen real estate at the top, but you still have that big footer down here. And a lot of times it has a huge space right here because it's a bug with the software, and it will like waste half the screen. I mean, that is ridiculous. It would drive me crazy if I was reading a book on this glorious 7.8-inch screen and you have like this much space at the bottom of the page. It drives me crazy. So I don't really like how side-loaded EPUBs render on the Kobo. I really like Kobo's format better. You can convert them. If you remove the DRM, you can convert them to Kobo's format, and then they work a lot better, quite frankly. But so yeah, so like let me show you some of the other downfalls with side-loaded ebooks, is that you never really know if the font adjustment options are going to work. So usually line spacing a lot of times doesn't seem to work on side-loaded books, but this one it does. So you can, it's sort of hit or miss if it's going to adjust the line spacing or not, and the same with the margins. So with this particular book, it's formatted in a way that you can adjust those things, but it just varies a lot from book to book. And then you still have like the same, you know, font choices as with Kobo, and you can darken the text as well. So you have those same settings, but you don't have the estimated reading timer, for instance, with the side-loaded books, so that is not an option. Alright guys, so this video is already getting pretty dang long. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video right here. Check out the ebook reader YouTube channel for some other videos if you wanted to see PDFs or comics in action on the Kobo Aura 1. And I also got that comparison between the Kindle if you're curious about how they compare as well. So thank you guys for watching, and y'all have a good day.